In this session, we will discuss about store procedures. What is store procedure means? Suppose you have written one query and you want to save that query for later use, then what you will do? You will keep in one notepad and then save it in your system, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever it is required, you just go to that notepad and come back with that query, execute in MySQL environment. Okay, that means you are not storing that query in database level. Okay, so store procedure, it gives some facility to save the query on the database server for the execution in later. Okay, and it can have parameters so that you can pass values to that parameter and get the result. It may contain the control flow statements like if, case, loops. Okay, so that you can use that control statements to develop the business logic. Okay, and in one store procedure you can call other store procedure also, and you can get the result from other store procedures. You can bind in current store procedure also. Okay, so this is the store procedure. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of store procedure you need to know. First one is reduce network traffic. Okay, that means it will store procedure helps to reduce the network traffic between the applications and MySQL. Okay, that means you have written one query. Okay, but that query has to be called by other people like API people. Okay, so same query, instead of calling same query, I mean instead of sending multiple lengthy SQL statements, application have to send only the name and parameters of stored procedures. Okay, so I will explain with example. This is one method. See this. These are the API methods. Okay. Here I am calling store procedure. This is the store procedure, and I am passing parameters to this store procedure like here. So here in this procedure get underscore emp, I have written some logic. Okay, so without store procedure, what will happen? Suppose same logic I want to use in this method also, then I have to write entire logic here. Okay, so in API you can able to write the select queries or any type of queries, but it becomes lengthy. Okay, so suppose if you want to use same type of query like SQL select query in many API methods. So these are the API methods. Consider that this is one API method. In this method, you have written one select query. Same select query you have to write in get emp details method also. Then what you will do? Whatever you have written in this API method, get emp method, same select query you just copy and paste it here. Okay, in future some changes are added, then what you will do? Again you will go to this method, you append that changes and come back to this get emp details method. You just append the changes whatever you have appended in getEmp method. Okay, if that select query is lengthy, then it will increases the network traffic. One method is to write the store procedure and to create the store procedure and write the entire logic inside the store procedure and call that store procedure like this. Call that store procedure and give that parameter names to that store procedure and pass the parameter values to that store procedure. Okay, this becomes simple. And calling the store procedure, it will reduces the network traffic rather than writing the queries in APIs. Okay, so that is reduce network traffic. Next one is centralize business logic in the database. That means in select queries, somewhat you can build logic, but if the requirement is more, then you can't write the entire logic in query. Like suppose there is a situation is required to use control flow statements like if and case state not you can write the case statement in select queries also. That is not there is if it is requirement is there to use if else statements, while loops, then you can't use that statements, control statements in select queries. Then that type of business logic you can write in stored procedure only. Okay, and third one is make database more secure. That means if you write some logic in stored procedure, then you can able to grant the privileges to the application that only specified stored procedures are allowed. You can give the uh, privileges to the user so that he can able to access that store procedure only. Suppose 10 store procedures are there in a database. If we want to assign the 5 store procedures to the user, I mean if you want to give the access to the 5 store procedures, you can give. Okay, so like that it is possible. Next, disadvantages. So resource usages. That means if you use many store procedures, that will be the drawback. That means the memory usage of every connection will increase substantially. So that is resource usages. Next one is troubleshooting. So here there is no debugging feature in MySQL. Okay, so that is one disadvantage. Maintenance. Maintenance means so developing and maintaining the store procedure is a specialized skill set. That means uh, writing these queries is different from writing the store procedures. Okay, some separate MySQL developer is required. So front-end people and API people, so they can able to write some small queries, select, insert, delete, update, but they can't able to write procedures which will have control statements, if and while loops. Okay, so for that writing that business logic, some developers, MySQL database developers are required to maintain the store procedure and develop the store procedure. Okay. Next, what are the different types of variables available in MySQL? First one is system variables. Select, suppose if you want to know the version name, then you need to write double at the rate version. Okay, so this type of variables are called system variables. See this. So many system variables are there. So all these are system variables. Next one is session variables. So session variables means you can write directly. First of all, go to this procedure, how to create the procedure. Right click on store procedures and here give session variables. See this, you can write directly without declaring the variables. Apply, then this logic, it is stored in this procedure. So copy, sorry, so here observe this, this is the database name, and if you are going to alter the store procedure, that means appending the changes to the store procedure, then it will drop this procedure and then it will recreate again the procedure. Okay, so earlier I have given the name like SEEE, session spelling is wrong, that's why I am executing again. Next, copy this store procedure name, and how do you execute the store procedure? Call store procedure name. See this 0, 10. Here column names @x, @y. These are the column names. Why? Because here I didn't give any column names. So if you want to give, you can give column names like column 1, column 2, and click on apply button and execute again like this. Okay, and in coming to the real time, here from DEPT, see this. So I want to capture the department name and location of department number 10. Okay, so how do you write the store procedure? So here select from DEPT where DEPT number equal to 10, and here @x colon equal to dname comma @y colon equal to location. After that, you just write this @x as dname. This one is location, and click on apply button. Now execute it. See this. Here three select queries are there. Okay. For the first select query, observe this. What will be the value? 0, 10. Second select query, accounting, New York. Third select query, rename, location. See this. Okay. So if you give rename here and location here and click apply button. So here, see this column names are like this. Now column names are changed. Okay. So it is better to give alias name. Otherwise, the column name should be like this. For department name, and this column name should be like this for location. Okay. And if you don't want this entire logic, you can just skip out this. Sorry. See this. Simple. Okay. But here I am not giving department number 10, then see what will happen. What will happen? All the department names are displayed. Okay. Next, so this is called session variables and user defined variables, both are same. Next one is local variables. So local variables means I am taking another store procedure. This is local variables. So here so in these brackets we can write the parameter names. Okay, that will be discussed in later. Now here I didn't, these are the session variables. Okay, but I didn't assign any data type to this x and y. Okay, in this local variable it is possible, like declare x varchar of 10, comma y now I am taking same query department where DABT number equal to 10, and here rename comma location into x comma y. Okay, and taking this procedure name, see this, it is not displaying anything. That means if you use local variables and moving to dname and location to the x and y, then it is moved to that variables, but it is not displaying like session table, session variables. For that, you need to display that variables in select query. Now you just call that procedure, then you can able to see. But here X and Y names are displayed as column names. For that, rename as location. Okay, now you can execute rename location. Okay, and here I am taking integer as Y. Now execute it. So here incorrect integer value new var. That means you have declared Y variable as integer, but you are passing string to that Y. That's why it is getting error. Okay, so if you use local variables, then you can give the data types to the variables. In session variables, you can't give the data types. Okay, so this is the difference between session variables and local variables. And see this, I am deleting that department number equal to 10. Now execute it, and for this see, result consists of more than one row. That means in department table 4 records are there, so it is not possible to move that 4 records into respective variables. That means in session variables it is possible. See this, execute these two procedures. See this, for calling second procedure it is getting error. Okay, so here it can display all the records. Okay, I am not having department number 10 in where condition, but here also I am not having department number 10 in where condition, but it is throwing some exception in local variable procedure. Okay, so here only one record has to be filtered, like where department number equal to 10, then it will give only one record. That record can be moved to variables. Suppose here if you write 3 column names, then you have to use another variables also. Okay, 3 variables you have to use. See this. Okay, so this is the difference between session variables and local variables.